Hello, friends. Hi, it is Jillian Leslie. I am founder of Milo Tree, which is the pop-up to grow your social media followers and your email list. I am founder of Catch My Party, which is the largest party ideas site on the web. I'm host of the Blogger Genius podcast, and I created this Facebook group, the Blogger Genius Share and Grow Your Blog Facebook group, so that we could all use the power. Hello there. Hi. So we could all use the power of the group to help us all grow. You know, I'm a big believer on the internet. I say this a lot. The internet's a really big place. And the more you can work together, even with people in your own niche, the more successful you have. It's a really, I think, a great way just to think about life. It's putting out the concept of abundance instead of scarcity. Like, I have to keep it all to me. Let's share, let's support, rising tides lift all boats. And I believe that is true on the internet. If you disagree, let me know. But if you agree, let me know. Leave a comment, because I think that if I had a choice to go through the world believing in abundance or believing in scarcity, I think abundance will lead to more happiness. So I have to say, so it's Monday and I feel good reading news about the new vaccine. I'm hoping that there will be an end at some point to this. It's amazing how, even though the end might take a couple months, agreed, Sherry, yes. Even though it might be, I don't know, maybe summer, fall, even just knowing that there is potentially an end, I think for me helps me manage my expectations and what's to come. So that has definitely put me in a better mood. Okay, so a couple things. One, please invite your friends who are bloggers to join this group, because remember, the more people we have, the more opportunities there are for things like I call cross-pollination. Like, you're in a specific niche, and guess what? There are other people in the group in that niche, and you can meet them, and you could work with them, and you could befriend them. We coach a monthly group, which, by the way, if you're interested, head to milotree.com/membership. It's a wonderful, wonderful group. And I challenge the people in the group to do certain things to grow their businesses that kind of put them in a place of slight discomfort, but are good for their growth. And one of the challenges I said is befriend somebody in your niche. Because you can share best practices and you can introduce each other to your audiences. And I promise you, and especially if you like this person and you trust this person and you both come in it from a place of helping, I think it can really add rocket fuel to your growth. And it makes things less lonely or less like you're in your own bubble, because you can reality check with somebody. And I'm a big believer in that. Today, I wanted to talk about my most recent podcast episode, which was all about Pinterest. Pinterest, I think, is getting a bad rap right now. Tell me if you agree. Put it in a comment if you agree with me or if you're frustrated with Pinterest. So my last podcast episode was with my friend Jennifer Priest from Smart Creative Social, and I call her a Pinterest expert. And we're very much in agreement on how we think about Pinterest. Now, Catch My Party, our first site, would not be on the map without Pinterest. Pinterest is a huge traffic driver for us, and it still drives a lot of traffic. But we've had to be very intentional about our strategy, and that's what I wanted to talk about. So I took a bunch of notes, and I just wanted to start at the top level, which is why do people come to Pinterest? They're not coming to socialize like they might on a platform like this or on Instagram, or, they're not looking to be entertained like on TikTok. What really they are here for on Pinterest is to solve problems. So I want you to put that, those glasses on. Like, this is why people are going to click on my pins. It's to solve a problem that they're having. So back into, well, what is the problem that I'm solving, rather than just think about your content as content. Really think about your content is a solution. And what is that solution? And how can I communicate the solution? So that's what I wanted to first present. The second thing I want to present is this idea of authenticity. We as content creators, and we're going to talk about how I'm going to reframe that even, but really we're helpers. And so the more authentically we can show up to help our audiences with the problems that they're having, the better. So it's not the Jill show. It's not about me, but it's about, though, hopefully you recognizing that my goal is to help you and that you can trust me, right? Because I don't have another agenda. I do want to grow my own business, but I hope it's aligned. I hope that my business helps you grow your business. So like Milo Tree, our pop-ups, they help you grow your social media followers. And like, I only want you to pay for Milo Tree if it works for you and if you're seeing your followers grow. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. And so therefore, it's about putting out an authentic energy, and by the way, which is why I do think live video and things like that are very beneficial. But even in your Pinterest pins, what are you there to do? You're there to authentically solve problems. So just be thinking about that as well. So you're the problem solver and you're the authentic problem solver. Now, the next thing that I also think is really important for having a strategy on Pinterest, like in your blog, like in everything, is being in a very specific niche. And the more niched down you are, the better, because that's how you get to know your audience and know what their problems are so that you can then solve their problems, create content around the solution, and put pins up that are very specific, speaking to a very specific audience. I just wrote this in an email, but we coach, as you know, bloggers, and we coach beginning bloggers, we coach super successful bloggers. Also, I interview bloggers for my podcast. And I have never, this is, people go, well, you need to be in a niche, but you don't want to be too niched down, right? Of course. So, but I will say, I have never met a blogger that is too niched down. I have met many bloggers who are in so many different niches. In fact, when somebody posts their blog on the Facebook group, the Blogger Genius Share and Grow Your Blog Facebook group, I go and I look at their blogs, and a lot of times, maybe not a lot of times, but if I see somebody who is in 1,000 different niches, I will typically kind of message them and say, hey, do you want to talk about this? Because I really think that you would do yourself a lot of good to pick one lane and stick with it. And the reason why you want to do that is because you want to be known as an expert in a certain thing. Google wants that. You gain authority, but also your audience wants that, because if I have 6 different audiences coming to my site, it's really hard for me to understand what their problems are, because they've got a whole host of problems versus, say, one specific problem. But also then I've got to educate 6 different groups of people about me. Whereas if somebody is really into DIY, using like upcycle DIYs or something like that, I could be that person to them, rather than, and I also do recipes, and I also do travel, and I also do fashion and capsule wardrobes. That's a lot. So again, for your strategy on Pinterest, it is much better if you are one thing. So Catch My Party, super easy. We are party ideas. We are beautiful parties. I want that mind share. I want, when you're thinking about planning a party or baby shower, for you to think Catch My Party. So not necessarily even that you're going to come to Catch My Party on Google, but that you're going to see my pins on Pinterest and you're going to trust me, because you know Catch My Party is all about parties and this is your source. And Pinterest knows that if somebody is looking for party ideas, that we are really reputable. And by the way, we have 1.4, last I checked, million Pinterest followers, all authentically grown using Milo Tree to grow our followers, our pop-up on Catch My Party. If you go to Catch My Party, you'll see it pop. And then all of those are signals to the algorithm that we matter, that we're the real deal. You can hear my husband's unpacking groceries that just got delivered. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about, so therefore I'm saying niche, niche, niche. And to be honest, even if you think you are too niched, message me and I'll tell you, you know what, that's too niche. And the way to really know if you're too niche is Google it. Google whatever you think that niche is. See if there's stuff that comes up. See if people are searching for the niche that you want to be in. It's a great way to figure out if you are too narrow. Chances are you're not. And if you are, I want to hear about it because I'd like to know where somebody has gone too far in one direction. Okay, so there are lots of rumors, lots of people, sharing strategies and here's how to kill it on Pinterest. And I wish I could endorse those strategies that are like, okay, and then you're going to pin this many pins and, blah, blah, and it's going to work and you're going to kind of trick the algorithm. And the algorithms keep getting smarter and smarter. So what they're looking for is how can Pinterest, their goal is to keep people on the platform. And the way they do that is by providing pins that offer up great solutions. So you want to be on that side. You want to be on the side that says, hey, Pinterest, I want to work with you. I'm going to provide good solutions. So when people click on the pin, they're going to like what they find. Then Pinterest goes, great. And you better believe Pinterest is looking at all of these signals, like somebody clicks over on a pin and do they have a good experience? How quickly are they clicking back? How quickly are they leaving Pinterest in general because they couldn't find the solution they were looking for? Just know Pinterest is looking at all of those data points. Pinterest is very much like Google. Google, though, is like maybe 5 years ahead of Pinterest. But you better believe Pinterest is trying to catch up to Google and looking at all of these signals. Again, it's where authenticity and hard work and solving problems comes in. Okay, so the question then for you is, what's your goal on Pinterest? Is it traffic? Is it getting email signups? Is it getting people to buy your products? Is it getting people to follow you on social media? Is it getting people to click on your affiliate links? Knowing this up front is really important because your job then is when you get somebody to finally click over to your site, you want to put them on a journey. I use the example of IKEA versus Target. Go to IKEA and guess what? They're going to lead you around the store. Target, you go in and you're like, okay, where's groceries, where's whatever, you're kind of just like browsing for stuff. But the truth is, the more your blog is like IKEA, the more success you'll have because you get to direct people where you want them to go. It's just really good when creating a blog post to think about how you want people to experience your content, your blog. So please, a lot of the tips that I'm sharing right now, are you doing the thinking up front? It's not about, as bloggers, there's this element of kind of like go, create a ton of pins, throw a bunch of stuff at the wall and see what sticks. My advice today is to slow down and to really do the hard thinking up front rather than at the back end, or rather than just being kind of a machine who's saying like, okay, I'm going to make all these pins, I'm going to throw them up there and see what happens. Like, I would say you're probably better off making fewer pins. Hello there. So for you people who are leaving comments, I can't see who you are. So will you put your names with your Facebook, or it's all I see on my end because I'm using StreamYard is Facebook user. So if you'd write your name, that'd be awesome too, so I could see who's here. Anyway, it's hard though, like in a weird way, sometimes I fall into this trap, and you can tell me if you do too. It's almost easier if I say, today you're just gonna go make 10 pins versus, okay, today you're gonna do the hard thinking that hurts your brain, where you're gonna really do, oh, hi, Deanna, it's so nice to see you. Where you're gonna do the hard thinking. Oh, Anina Bell, how are you? How's your baby? Oh, it's so nice that you're here. So I'm going to push for you to create fewer pins, but with more thinking, even though it hurts and it's hard, because this is how you start to really have a strategy. Okay, so this is where you want to know your goal of what you want somebody to achieve when they come to your blog, what you want them to achieve for you. Again, it might be an email sign up. It might be a product purchase. It might be traffic. Just like when I create a post, I write what my goal is, top, and I go, this is what I'm trying to achieve. It will help direct everything. The next thing I want to do is get very comfortable with my Pinterest analytics. So the things that I look for are things like, so good, thank you. Really trying to improve my Pinterest game. Oh my God, thank you, thank you. I think about, okay, so I get very comfortable. Like Pinterest analytics are not that tricky. There are only a couple things that you can really see from them, but they're very rich. So the first is, you kind of want to see how often your pins are being shown to people. And then you want to also look at how often your pins are being saved. And this is all in this drop-down menu. It's like, it's kind of like, I don't know what they're calling it, reach. I'm flaking on that right now, but you can search for saves, search for pin clicks. Initially, I was only interested really in pin clicks. I think, to be honest with you, that is my favorite analytic. But I also want to see how often is my pin being shown and how often is it getting clicked on? Because if there's a real disconnect there, that means somehow I'm not communicating to the Pinterest algorithm what this pin is, because they're showing it to a bunch of people, but people aren't engaging in this pin. So you want to look for where the data is not making sense, because then Pinterest is going to stop showing that pin to a bunch of people if it's not getting clicks. So those are like, so get familiar with your analytics. Sometimes, again, analytics, they're scary. They're kind of uncomfortable, especially if you're seeing your traffic go down. And don't think I don't fall for this too, which is my traffic numbers are going down. I don't want to check my analytics for a couple days because it just feels bad. So what I'd say is give yourself a break that day. Don't hang in your analytics, but then tomorrow, check them. See what's working. Really focus. See if you can see the positive. What's working? What pins are you creating that are working for you? Okay, so let's talk about what makes a good pin. Well, good pin has a couple different things. One, it shows me what on top of what problem that pin is solving. So it's not just blueberry pie. It maybe is the easiest blueberry pie, or the quickest, the 5-ingredient blueberry pie. Maybe it's a sewing project, but it's the easy sewing project, or it is organic sewing, or I'm just kind of coming up with these things off the top of my head, but that should be in the headline, in the text overlay, so that when somebody's scrolling through, they're not just seeing one apple pie after another apple pie. They're looking at like the quick crust or whatever it is, but you advertise that because that's what's making the vegan, that's what's making that stand out. So so this is again where I'm going to ask you to do the hard thinking up front. Before you create this post, go to Pinterest and Google what you want to be. This is super loud. I want you to Google, hey, wait, David, can you do that a little later? Oh, anyway, see if you Google what it is you're going to create content around, and look at the pins, look at your competition, look at what is being offered and how can you do it a little bit better or a little bit different. What is your twist? Also then, go to Google and type in whatever you're thinking of creating and see what comes up, and look at those top 3 posts. By the way, we were in our group and we were talking about this because people were saying, I need to really dig in and do better SEO. And David, who's my husband and my partner, and who's like the tech guru, what we said is an honesty, like SEO doesn't have to take a long time. It is 5 minutes. It is, because you get 80% of what you need to know in 5 minutes. It's Google whatever it is you think you're going to create. Look at what the top posts are. See if you can beat them. See if you could do something better. It's Google it. It's searching for it on Pinterest, looking at the pins for what you're creating, and see if you can create something different with a different twist. That's your job. And then the other thing is call to action on the pin. Tell people what you want them to do, to click, to get the recipe with a button so that it just signals to them, go do this. Okay, Google it first. Great advice. Yes, Google and Pinterest are your friends because they are aligned. They're both SEO-driven platforms. What does well on Google will typically do well on Pinterest and vice versa. For example, I was looking in my Google Search Console for Catch My Party, and it will show you what keywords you're already ranking for. So, it said that it was saying that we were ranking for, so we're doing a bunch of social distancing party ideas posts because those are doing well for us because we want to help people celebrate but safely. And what we were ranking for was social distancing party food ideas. And while we mentioned party food ideas in our content, we did not have a blog post about social distancing party food ideas. So I said to my assistant, we need to create that post. And we did. And we created pins for so we created the post and we did it so that Google would be happy. And then we created pins for that post. And do you know that that is now one of our best posts on Google because Google told us in our Search Console, hey, you're ranking for this. And then we said, we don't have a post for that. We're going to make that post. And then magically, those pins are doing really well on Pinterest. So that's where there's this cool overlap. If you're willing to do some SEO research, again, 5 minutes, you don't have to be an SEO expert. All you have to do is Google it and search for it on Pinterest, see what's coming up and try to do something with a twist or something a little better. So that's all it is in terms of SEO. Now, you want to then use these keywords all over your blog post and all over Pinterest. So it is all about what board are you pinning that pin into the first time? Pinterest is really kind of saying, we're not as psyched about repinning, meaning it's fine, but really what is giving us the biggest signals are that pin in what board? Like what board are you telling us this is most relevant for? And then, so that board should have appropriate keywords. That pin on top in your text overlay should have good keywords. That title should have good keywords. That description should have good keywords. And there should be maybe a couple hashtags with keywords that are all relevant. So this is how you build out that good pin. So I wanted to talk about that. Okay, this is another thing I'm going to say, and please take this to heart. Pinterest wants you to be successful on the platform. They're not trying to thwart you. They are not trying to hide your pins or make it harder for you. They're not saying go pay for promotion. People kind of have that idea. If you've got a great solution, Pinterest wants to show it to the right people. The easier you make that for Pinterest to understand what's in the pin so they can offer it up to the person who's looking for that, it's a win-win. So just think that, like, Pinterest wants you to be happy. Because I think that we've gotten to this point where people anthropomorphize Pinterest as like this evil platform. It used to be our friend and it's not anymore, and it still can be our friend. So just think about that. Okay. The next thing too, and Jennifer is a big proponent of this, is to think of every pin as a Ubersuggest is another great tool because yes, you can see what you rank for and what other people who rank for the same keywords are doing. Absolutely, Deanna, great point. And I love Ubersuggest, and we use Ubersuggest when we are doing Pinterest research, keyword research, not Pinterest, keyword. But you can do a lot of it, again, just on Pinterest, just on Google. I would say the next level is going to Ubersuggest. And we actually teach that in our groups using Ubersuggest because it's free. And it gives you maybe gosh, 80% of what you can get with something like SEMrush. And so it's exactly, and it's free, absolutely. So if you have not checked out Uber Suggest, I suggest you do that. Now let's talk about this idea. Okay, so this is one thing Jennifer talks a lot about, and I'm a big believer in this as well. Every pin is a test. So therefore, when you create, say, we do 3 pins for every blog post, and then we see how it does. If it all of a sudden is doing really well, we'll go in and make more pins for that blog post. But what we try to do is make them a little different so that we could see like what's working and what isn't working. We want to vary text, vary description, all of that, because we want to see, like, so I want you to think of your pins as tests, and Pinterest is such a great platform for testing because you get feedback. And I always say that it's really hard in many ways to get your audience to like talk back to you. But Pinterest gives you that information. So be checking Pinterest to see, oh, I ran this experiment. Like I'm going to try to use dark colors, or I'm going to try and use a close-up, or I'm going to try and put more text, or who knows, but see how things work. And then whether you can take that. Now you might go, oh my God, this pin with a dark close-up photo has done so well. I'm going to do that again. And it might not work, but it might. You might have kind of caught on to something that's working. So go repeat it. See if you can get that result again. So testing. Pinterest is all about testing, which is where it's not about throwing a bunch of suboptimal pins, throwing these at the wall and seeing what sticks. And I think that's where people are getting into trouble. They're thinking that mediocre pins with maybe mediocre content is going to get you traffic if you put 20 pins up, because Pinterest, remember, has come out and said new content, new content, new content. Yes, that's true, but really I think they need to be clearer about that. New good content, new good content, new engaging content, new eye-catching content. That's what really Pinterest is saying. I think we are in this old mindset where we could take one pin and we could pin it into a bunch of different boards and get results from that. So we're used to like quantity, not quality. And I think the more we can focus on quality and strategy, analytics, understanding your goals, those kinds of things, that's where success comes from. So I want you to think about yourselves as this is what I had talked about just at the top very briefly. Instead of thinking of yourself as a content creator, a blogger content creator, think of yourself as a blogger content marketer. And again, this is that you've got a goal for every post that you create. It's not, it might just be, it might not just, but it might be traffic, and that's fine, but optimize for traffic. So therefore, in that blog post that you're sending people to, make sure you make it really easy for them to click over and go see more content, so that one click over to your site leads to 5 clicks on 5 different pages of your site. Think that way rather than, oh, I'm just going to get some one-off traffic on Pinterest. Or if you're looking for sales, can I get this person onto my site and get them to sign up for my list so that I can warm them up and show them my offerings so they potentially buy from me? Like, that's how I want you to think. I think, well, I recommend you think this way, which is, I am a content marketer. And again, marketing is not it's not a dirty word. It's how we grow our businesses. It's by figuring out what we can offer to our visitors to make their lives better. Win-win. That's what I want you to think about. Okay, and the last thing that I really want to talk about is not believing everything you're reading in Facebook groups. People are really upset and they are really angry, and they are despondent, or they say, I know what to do. This is what you do. You do this one thing and you'll have success. And then guess what? My business, I have two businesses. They couldn't be more different. MiloTree is a SaaS app, which means software as a service. It's a B2B business. I'm a business. You're a business. You're going to put MiloTree on your blog. Catch My Party is a B2C business. I'm a business. I create content, or people upload party photos to our site. We show them off. We make it easy for you to plan your party. We monetize them completely differently, and they work very differently on every platform. So to think that there would ever be this one-size-fits-all solution, I think is crazy. So when somebody says, here's my Pinterest strategy, great, go take it, go try it. But if it doesn't work for you, it's okay, because something else will work for you. It's about you, again, doing that thinking up front that hurts. Don't think that, like, I was working on an email sequence today, and I probably wrote 6 emails. It hurt my brain so much. And I kept thinking to myself, like, what easier task can I shift to? Because when I'm writing them, I want them to be engaging. I want people I have so many things I'm trying to accomplish in writing these emails that honestly my brain was hurting. And I wish I could show you this, but like, I had to have chocolate chips with me just to fuel me, to keep me going. And I do think that reading about the vaccine probably helped me motivate me, just because it put me in a better mood. So anyway, my point is, it hurts to do the hard thinking. And we have so many things on our plates that it almost is easier just to go like bang out a bunch of pins without a lot of thought. And then to kind of, again, upload them into Tailwind and not do the thinking behind all of that. And I guess my takeaway from this is to, again, slow down, to be uncomfortable, to really map it out and know that it might not work. Like, that's the worst part. I'm putting together this email sequence, and I have to stop myself from saying, what if this doesn't work? Well, if it doesn't work, I'm going to rework it, or I'm going to come up with something else, and I'm going to test it. I'm going to try it. That's like one of the hardest things about being this entrepreneur, and I think that's why people are so despondent with Pinterest right now. So I hope these are helpful. If you're watching the replay of this, please type in replay just so that I know. And I hope that this gives you more things to think about, more things to control, so that you're not just this person kind of, at the whim of Pinterest. Align with Pinterest. Get them on your side. Oh, and one last thing I forgot to talk about is this. Because again, Pinterest and Google are getting really smart. They know if your content is good, not just your pin. So although Pinterest is saying new content means new pins, it behooves you to go look at those old posts that you're making new pins for and update your content. I'm sure that if you saw a blog post from 2 years ago and you reread it, a part of you would be horrified. Maybe because you're a better photographer, maybe because you know how to write blog posts better, maybe because you have a better solution, maybe because you now make video, whatever it is, but things change really quickly. So it's not just about going, okay, this is my money post. This is the post that has done well for me for the past 3 years, but I've been making new pins for it, but I haven't been updating the post. This is, again, where Pinterest and Google work together. So if I can update that post and make a new pin or a couple new pins, I'm like, that is where you want to be, because Google, and then I want to update the date of that post. I wouldn't be surprised, I've said this previously now, I don't know any, I don't have any insights from Pinterest, but my hunch is eventually they will want not just new pins, but new content, meaning this is like a brand new blog post that is up to date and has tons of cool information, maybe a video, but it's like really solid content, because again, it's in Pinterest's best interest to send people to high quality posts. So therefore, again, this is where that like heavy, like hard thinking comes in. It's not just about, creating a bunch of pins, but it's about starting with the blog post, seeing if you can go in there, update it. And again, it doesn't have to be a ton of stuff, but maybe you could put some H2s and answer some questions for your audience. Maybe you could simplify, maybe you could check your affiliate links and make sure they're all working. Maybe you can link to other useful posts, whatever it is that you can do to update your content in addition to creating new pins. That is the money right there. So that's what I'm doing to 8. Okay, a great refresher from the coaching group. Oh, I'm so glad. If you have a Mac and are using your iPhone, you can use earbuds in your mic. They shouldn't pick up any of David's background noise. It doesn't bother me. I thought it was funny. Oh, okay, good. Okay, I know, David. I'm getting comments about your noise. Okay, I hope this was really helpful today. I want you to have success on Pinterest. So please don't give up. And if you have strategies that are working, share them. But if you're reading about these strategies, do know they might work and they might not work, but there are ways for you to be successful on the platform. Please, again, I would love it if you are, I'm going to show the banner. If you're watching this somewhere that isn't in the Facebook group, please join my new Facebook group, which is really cool. And I'm hanging in there all the time, and I really am loving it. And I love getting to know all of you in this group. It's just so fun. And I love the community because they are just, everybody's in it. And I just love that. And I love working with you guys. And I love helping share anything that I have that can be beneficial for you. And again, this is why I always say take everything I'm saying, test it for yourself. And then let me know what's working, what's resonating. I would love to hear that. Okay, I will be back. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your Monday. If you have any feedback for me, please let me know. And there you go. So have a wonderful rest of your day. I'm going to go enjoy my sunny day and go outside and do work outside. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.